Yo, what's going on guys, Arekkz here, welcome back to another Overwatch video, and in today's video we are speaking about Lucio. In the most recent PTR update, Lucio is the next hero that is due some changes. Of course, over the past few months, we've seen changes to various different heroes, but now it is Lucio's turn. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how he's changed, his moves, the values, all that stuff. So if you do enjoy this and you do find it useful, then a like would be super appreciated. Any questions, drop them down below. Also let me know what you guys think of these new changes, but let's get started. So, first up, his sonic amplifier. Of course, your primary fire, your projectile speed has now increased from 40 that it was previously, and of course exists in the current game, to 50. So you fire a little bit faster now. You can actually feel this. It is quite noticeable anyway, but this is the new firing speed. On top of that, your alternate fire, your boop as I like to call it, now considers vertical orientation when knocking targets back. So basically it won't just knock people straight back. You can actually alter this, you can kind of adjust your angle to boop people in directions that'll actually benefit you. Great for knocking people off edges, things like that. So vertical orientation is now a thing with alternate fire. As for your crossfade, now your song's area of effect radius has been decreased from 30 meters to 10 meters. Now yes, that is quite a considerable deduction, and that does of course mean that your songs only affect a much tighter radius. However, there is a good reason for this, and I'll cover that at the end when we speak about the developers' comments. The main thing to bear in mind is there's also now a temporary in-game visual aid that now illustrates the radius. You can see this right here, this green or yellow line, depending of course what song you're playing, and this shows the area that you affect. Now in the patch notes it does say it's a temporary visual effect. In the PTR currently it just remains there all the time, so I don't know whether this is just to kind of give people a chance to get used to it, or whether the intention is to say when you swap it shows up for a bit and then fades out. Either way, for the time being, this is here to show you the new radius. And while yes, you do have a much tighter radius, it's a much shorter, smaller one than before, the benefit for this is that for your heal song, your healing per second has now been increased by 50%. That is a considerable jump. It now means you are a much better healer than before, and this is also of course amplified by Amp It Up. So if I demonstrate that in this situation, with these AI bots, they are on pretty low health, so if I then go and switch to my heal song and then amp it up, you can see the heal is actually pretty good. So of course, Lucio is now going to be a much better healer than before. Again, we'll touch on exactly why this change was made when we speak about the developer comments at the end, but basically, you now have a smaller radius with a much better quality heal, so provided you're close to your team, you can actually be of much greater use. Moving over to your ultimate, your sound barrier, your radius has also been reduced from 30 meters to 20 meters this time, so slightly wider, of course, than your regular songs, but it is still smaller than before, so you need to factor this in when dropping your ult. So again, here in the training room, you can see if I drop it right here, then the bot that is nearest to me, right in front, does get affected, but the two over there to the right were a little bit outside the 20 meter radius, so they of course didn't get the effect. And then finally, for your wall ride, your movement speed has been increased by 30% when wall riding, and you also now gain a small burst of speed when leaping off a wall. Now, I don't profess to be the world's best wall runner, but hopefully you can see from some of the gameplay in the background, the demonstration of this. So, those are all the changes for Lucio. But, as with all these changes, anytime they kind of change the way the character works, there are some accompanying developer comments, so I'm going to quote exactly what they said in the patch notes, and then we'll speak about them in a second. So, Lucio has often felt like a must-pick hero due to his raw healing output and the versatility of providing a speed boost for your entire team. The goal of these changes is to keep those elements feeling strong, but making them harder to apply to everyone on your team at all times. The end result is that he should feel strong with teams that can stay close, but not as strong when on teams where heroes are spread apart, such as Pharah, Widowmaker, Genji, etc. Much of Lucio's character power was tied up in his large passive auras, which caused other elements of his kit to be weakened over time in an attempt to balance him out. But now that his auras are much more focused, it will allow them to be much stronger and allow Lucio to be more active in his role. So basically, summary for that is that before, the way that Lucio worked, or of course the way he works in the live game right now because this patch hasn't gone live just yet, is that you have a very big radius, a very passive radius. So, you know, your heal isn't quite as strong, but it's a very wide radius, so of course you're effective with people without necessarily thinking about it. I often kind of jokingly refer to Lucio as a sort of lazy healer, not in a negative way. I love Lucio, he's one of my favourite characters, but you can basically just sit there and just heal people without actually having to try. However, of course, one of the things with that is that because it's such a big radius, then some of his other moves are, weakened as a result of it. So by making it a little bit tighter, it means you need to think a little bit more when you play him. You're going to have to actively seek out your team members, make sure you're sticking close. So if people are running off and, disappearing halfway across the map, then you're obviously not going to be able to help them out. So it does, once again, emphasize playing as a team. I mean, this is a team-based game, right? So if you stick as a team, you play together, Lucio will be very, very effective, but of course if your team just runs off and does their own thing, then he's probably not going to be the best person to use. So for Lucio players, he should actually end up being a much better hero to play. You'll actually be able to get a lot more out of him, and generally speaking, the things that you like about the character will be better as a result. It just means that you have to kind of think a little bit more when trying to heal people, and also when trying to provide speed boosts. But either way, those are the changes that are currently live on the PTR. So for the time being, that's it. If there are any additional changes later down the line before they hit the live game, I will of course let you guys know, but for the time being, that's it. Thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.